Over to you, Elder Kachi. Elder, if you can hear us, you can't hear you.
Okay, I think I was muted. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we can, loud and clear.
All right. I actually have been ill a bit. I've been a bit down since the weekend, so I just try to find enough energy to come out to do this. But I will try to do my best as it is. So today I'm trying to let everybody know we all can be wealthy, every single one of us. And that is what I need to prove to you right now in personal finance. I'm not saying it's it's actually very easy. It's a breeze. It's not really a breeze, but it's not really difficult anyway. So it's just about focus and discipline, and then knowing the principles. And I'm going to share some of these principles today. I'm going to share my screen, and then if you can you see my screen? Can you see my
Yes,
screen?
we can.
Yes.
Yes, we can.
All right.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about principles of wealth creation today in personal finance. So, and it's because it's actually supposed to be a long one, so I try to compress the bit, and I have to be very fast so that we can finish this particular topic today, and then do the other section by next week. So, I hope I'm not having any technical issues. All right. So, I'm going to go from the biblical principles anyway. Apart from the kingdom of God, when Jesus was there, he said more about money and wealth than any other topic in the Bible. Most people don't even believe this, but it's true. So Christ talked about money and wealth more than any other topic, apart from kingdom of God. That's one that he spoke about more. But if you remove kingdom of God, the other topic that Christ talked about more than any other topic was about money and wealth. So if you see out of 30 recorded parables in the Bible, 19 are actually set in economic context. That is about 2/3 of the 20 parables that he made. 19 out of 30 were focused on economic context. So there are many of them: the lost coin, the parable of talents, the rich fool, that of workers, and there's so many more. They all have to do with about wealth creation, money, and finances. So, but God's secret of wealth building has been misunderstood or ignored for centuries. And I can tell you they are still being ignored today. I know a lot of people refer to Matthew chapter 19, verse 24. I don't know whether you know that verse, where he says it is easier for a camel to pass through the eyes of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God. So maybe people hold on to that and decide that for you to get to heaven, you have to be extremely poor, or just poor, or you don't have to be rich. So already, if you're rich, you're going to hell, in some people's thinking. But they stop at 24, verse 24. If they go on to read 25 and 26, you see that at verse 25, the disciples asked him, so who will now qualify to go to this heaven? And then in 26, he said, with man, it is impossible, but with God, all things are possible. The same place. So with God, which means when you go through Christ, even a rich man will go to heaven. So with God, all things are possible. With man, it might not be possible, but with God, all things are possible. Now, let's look at a guy I just picked up. His name is F. Young. So F. Young at 30, F. Young was young. Let me also say something here, please. Finance is usually an abstract topic. So I'm trying to bring it down so that everybody will understand and flow with finance. A way that you flow with it, you understand it. Because most people find finance very abstract. So they just lose interest when you talk about finance. But you don't have to, because all of us are involved in personal finance one way or the other every day. Just as some of us don't know the principles, so we just do any way we see. But The truth is that it's something that we should know about. So Effiong, as I'm talking about, is a young, upward mobile, young, savvy young man. He has a good job, earns more than he needs. He even spends money on trivial issues, things that really don't matter. He socializes and spends on exotic vacations here and there. He's under no financial or family pressures. He's just there. No pressure. He has enough. He's just catching his fun and flowing with the tide. Now, the same Effiong, 25 years after, you can see him now. He's overwhelmed by bills, children's tuitions piling up, rent, upkeep, failing health, and all the physical, financial strain that come with it, of hospital bills, of medicines, and all that. Doctors' referrals, bills and bills and bills mounting. He's now heavily indebted because he has to borrow to make up most of the time. And then he's sad. He thinks about the old times all the time, the time past, when things were easy, when things were rosy. He's depressed. He has more serious health issues. He's now having blood pressure, blood sugar, and other health challenges. Now I'll ask, what happened to Effiong? What actually happened to Effiong? Was he ignorant? Was he overconfident? Did he lack discipline? Or did he just lack financial planning? Did he not have any vision? The answer is all of the above. Effiong failed in all this. A quote, an anonymous quote I have says, the only thing worse than being blind is having sight and having no vision. Now, was this avoidable? The answer is a big yes. Effiong should not have fallen so dramatically if he imbibed the secrets of wealth building. Now, let's move to the hard facts. I need to let you understand the facts about wealth building. The first, I'm showing you a typical productivity chart. This is how productive we are. From 10 years to 20, we start to rise up in productivity, and then to 30, and then to 40. That's usually about our peak, about that plus or minus 40, that's where we get to our peak. After 40, we start to, drop in productivity. We're still productive, but we're no longer at that peak, and it starts to drop. And then at 60, it's dropping further. And then at 70, it is back to where it was when we were 10, or around that area. And then it continues to slide. So this is natural. This is human. This is how we are. We can't change that. So, you hear about the id, the ego, and the superego. A man is a child, first of all, and then grows to a man, and then comes back as an old man. If you look at most old people, they start to think like the child again. And that is how it is in life. Now, I ask you, and each one of you here today, do you have a plan? Do you have a plan? Do you have a plan? Think about it yourself. Do you have a plan? And let me draw some kind of scenario. For your dream home, there are two building designers. One has a building plan that has everything scheduled, including electrical, physical fitting, plumbing, landscape design. This is, you want to build a house, and this guy has everything planned out. But the other one tells you, I'm a fantastic building designer. Don't worry. I will just design as I build. Don't worry. I have your ideas in mind. Anyhow, I just get it for you. To which builder will you give the home contract? Most of you here will say the first one, of course, who has a real plan. But unfortunately, when it comes to our personal finance, we take the second option. We just let it flow anyhow, anywhere it takes us, no problem. So, and I want to tell you here today that financial decisions outside the plan is a recipe for financial disaster. You are just going for disaster because it will take you where you don't know. Now, let me come to the perspectives on wealth creation. You see, I've told you that wealth creation is not sinful. So if you read just the part I read in the book of Matthew, and you did not complete the 2 other verses, you would think it's sinful, because that verse says it's going to be almost impossible for a wealthy man to get into the kingdom of God. But if you read the book of Ecclesiastes 5:19, you see that wealth creation is not sinful. Actually, God is one that actually helps us to acquire wealth. So how can he help you get something that is important? And to create wealth, you don't need a university. You don't need a university degree at all. You don't need a huge capital outlet. Most people think, if I have $300, that is the only time I'll be able to make it. Sometimes you don't even need that huge outlet to create wealth. You don't need a wealthy background. You don't need inheritance. In fact, if you know the story of the prodigal son in Luke chapter 15, you understand what I'm talking about. He had everything. Wealthy father took his inheritance, but he squashed all of it. So sometimes, even your inheritance cannot create wealth for you, no matter how large it is. Although the Bible recorded people like Isaac who had a good inheritance, but they also applied the wealth creation skills. And then he was able to multiply even the wealth that was already huge. He was able to multiply it. He was able to grow that wealth. So the skills are important. There's I'm getting an echo back. I don't know where from. Are we good? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
There's some background noise somewhere. All right. Okay. So I've told you there is a seed time and there is harvest. In everything in life, there's seed time and there's harvest. And this is very important. There's seed time and there's time for harvest. Ecclesiastes also says that it's time for everything under the sun. There's time to plant, there's time to reap. And one of the things you need to know is you know when to plant and you also know when to reap. That is why wealth creation needs a level of awareness. So there is seed time and harvest. If you read Genesis chapter 8:22, you guys can actually be taking note of what the Bible verses so they can check them. I don't want to waste time reading them all. That would take us much longer. So, but there's seed time and there's harvest time. The only thing there is that you should not, that God said in the Bible, that you should not create wealth at the expense of your soul. And you can refer to that in Matthew chapter 16, verse 26. So wealth creation should not be selling your soul. That's what the Bible says. What does it profit a man to gain the world and lose his soul? So it's very important that you understand that wealth creation doesn't mean you start narrow-minded. No. You should not be at the expense of yours. For this, you only need time, vision, and persistence. You need time. Note them very well. To create wealth, you need time, you need vision, and you need persistence. Time, vision, persistence. Three things. Or you can say time, vision, and focus. Or you can call them time, vision, and discipline. Either way, it works. Those are the things you need. Now, I'll continue with the perspectives on wealth creation. We are just custodians of wealth because God owns everything. Proverbs 8:18 will tell you that everything that we own belongs to God. So the fact that he allows us to have it doesn't mean it's our own. No, it's not really ours. It belongs to God. And when you begin to understand it that way, the better you'll be, the wealthier you will feel. When you understand that everything you have actually is because of God. It's not because of how smart you are. It's not because of how powerful you are. And then as long as it is legitimate, God wants it to increase. That's Proverbs 13:11. As long as it's legitimate, God wants it to increase. So work is actually a thing of honor. You're supposed to work. Man is supposed to work to create value. You're supposed to identify and pursue your passion productively. You know, God has given all of us different gifts. We're supposed to pursue and use it to the benefit of ourselves and others. Also, perspectives about time. Time is money. In finance, they tell you that time value of money, 200 naira today is different from 200 naira by next week. That is why you put your money in a fixed deposit. If it's for 1 month, after 1 month, this amount you get after 2 months. So there's a time value for money. So time itself is money. Even though, so which means time, which is given to all of us equally. So you don't have any disadvantage. Little drops, make an ocean. And the Bible says you should not despise the days of little beginnings. Zechariah chapter 4, verse 10. So some people think, how can I start small? I've heard people like that. I can't do that. It's too small for me. It's most times people don't understand that it is better to have a consistent trickle than one surge that just ends. I'll take that again. Most times it is better to have a consistent trickle, just drops, but it's consistent. Even when you're sleeping, it's dropping, than one full surge that just stops after that. It's very important you understand these things, these perspectives. And the law of multiplication, that everything is a seed. Everything that we have is a seed. Everything is a seed. God gives you your gift. So many things you have are all seeds. Genesis chapter 26, verse 4. And that seed, you have to sow it. You have to plant it. You have to grow it. You have to multiply it. One of the ways to do it is by spending much less than you earn over a long period of time. Some people find this quite difficult. And when you save this, you invest the surplus. But it cannot multiply if you do not try to sow at all. Now, savings, it has become messed up even in this place. It has become so messed up even in this place. Savings, because of the last how many years now? 5 to 8 years, our currency has been messed up a bit. So it has become difficult for people to save. So people save their money and then they've lost value by saving. But I'm going to make basic assumptions on this and let you know what to do, how to counteract, how to take care of that particular challenge. But it doesn't defy the basic principles of wealth creation. Now, God's prescription says, the wise store up choice food and olive oil, but fools gulp down theirs. Proverbs chapter 21, verse 20. The wise store up choice food and olive oil, but fools gulp down theirs. So the wise actually store up. That's what God expects you to do. But fools actually clear up everything. Now, the other thing, another very powerful is in the Bible is the Pharaoh's dream. You guys know. And all of Genesis 41. I'm sure you know the story. The dream that Pharaoh had, where he woke up and was calling all his people, all his sorcerers to come and interpret, and they could not interpret. That big fat cows, 7 fat cows were grazing, very fat cows, very healthy-looking cows were grazing. And while they were there, a set of 7 hungry-looking cows came in, hungry and gaunt and looking very, and then ate up the big ones. You can imagine the very hungry ones swallowing up the very, very, very healthy ones. And in the same dream, again, there were heads of corn, very healthy heads of corn, 7 of them. And then there's another 7 heads of corn. They were very, very unhealthy, didn't look good, looked poor. And these ones also swallowed the healthy ones. And then this was very confusing for him. And then that was when, of course, Joseph was summoned miraculously to come and interpret those dreams. And Joseph told him, it's not me, but it's God in heaven who interprets these dreams. And then went on to tell him what God said the dreams were about, which was that there's 7 years of plenty that will be followed by another 7 years of famine. And that in these 7 years of plenty, he should store and save up the plenty, save at least 1/5, that is 20% of whatever comes out, save it up, so that in those years of famine, you have a surplus that you'll be tapping from, that you'll be feeding from, so that Egypt will not be hungry. And this was what was done. And I am telling you, this is a lifelong principle. Don't think it's just about Egypt or anywhere. This is a principle that you have to follow. When you are in that phase of a surplus, do not begin to look for things that are unnecessary to splurge on. I can tell you that. Sow and sow and sow, save and sow, save and sow. Keep apart if you can 20, some people do 10 of whatever it is. Put it in areas where it will also be multiplying. It's not supposed to. Remember the person that was given 1 talent by in the Bible, and then it went and hid it somewhere, buried it on the ground. You're not supposed to bury it. You're supposed to actually multiply it. Now, the other biblical principles about savings, the dexterity of the ant. The ant is a very fantastic creation, as tiny as they are. During the rains, they go around carrying food, and you see them very organized. They make these long queues. If you watch them, really, you observe. If you go to where there's real earth, you observe them. They go and they continue to pile up, carry food, and go and store. They're saving it somewhere. They keep on doing this. And by the time it's dry season, when they are not seeing as much food that they used to see, you see them, they now have something they can feed on. That is the dexterity of the ant. And it's also recorded in the Bible. So if you check working and saving is something that you need to do. As you work, you need to keep something apart. Proverbs chapter 6, 6-8. You can take that down also and check it after. The road to financial freedom runs through saves and investing. The road to financial freedom runs through place where you save and then you invest. So you need to prioritize, you need to save, and you need to invest. Can you still hear me, please?
Yes, Miss Loud and clear.
All right, thank you. So I'm going over to income cycles. Because many people have, when I do this training, people say, oh, I don't have monthly income. I do this. There are all kinds of income cycles. There are those who do daily, like transporters, like casual laborers, like hawkers, small retailers. They get daily, just daily. Whatever they get that day, their income comes daily. Some days are good, some days are not good. There are those who do weekly, transporters who have given out vehicles on maybe on a lease, or hire purchase agreement. You know, some of them actually collect money weekly. Some temporary jobs pay weekly. Then most people have monthly cycles where, like civil servant, paid employees, some landlords that collect rent monthly, so their income comes in monthly. Then there are fewer people who also do quarterly, some business owners and those who invest in treasury bills. They run on 90-day cycles, so they do quarterly. And then some also make their money annually. Of course, some landlords that collect rent have every year. Some investors in shares or mutual funds. And then there are those whose business is not even regular. Some are irregular. So some traders, contractors, laborers, the day they see. You could be a contractor and do it, but you don't know when you're going to do it. One day the payment comes. So these are not regular people, like some traders, some laborers, some agents, and of course those who receive handouts. So income cycles are different for different people, depending on what they do. And we need to take note of our own income cycles. All right. All right. So now let's look at income types. So of course you have people who earn salaries, wages, stipends. You have those who have income from selling products. There are those who have income from services. There are those who receive handouts. People just give them every month, take. And then those who have inheritance. There are those who win the lottery. There are those who get subsidized, and then there are those who get investment deals. You know, there are all kinds of income types. So, you know, you have a job. You can see the quadrant here on my screen. The first quadrant is you have a job. The second quadrant is your business owner. You own a system, and people work for you. The third quadrant is self-employed. You own a job. And the fourth one is you're an investor, money works for you. Most of us want to be at the fourth quadrant, the investor, where money will start to work for you, where you don't need to work for money anymore. Now, let me... Okay. All right, so income gulpers. These are the things that actually take money, generally. These tithing, giving. I always put this first because this is what God expects from us, to tithe or give. This is basic. And then I go then to savings. Every surplus should be saved before you now think about how to invest. And then taxes. Of course, taxes, we pay taxes here and there, whether we like it or not. These days, even in the ordinary bank transaction, you're already paying taxes. Debt repayment. This takes our money. If you are owing, you have to repay. Lifestyle, living expenses. This takes a bulk of our earnings. Contingencies and emergencies, also part of what we spend money on. The first two are productive. So the first two, tithing, giving, and savings, are like investments. They are productive, whereas the rest are consumptive. They don't come back. Look at it very well. The first two, one way or the other, will come back to you, but the others, therefore, they never come back to you. They are gone. So common sense will dictate that you try to put a lot more on the first two than you're putting on the other four. It is not easy because you have to live and all that, but the more you can push to these two, the better for you. Because you either consume or you save and invest. Now, there are distractions to creating a surplus. There are distractions. Irregular incomes. Some people have irregular income, so they don't know when it's going to be there. They don't know when the money will come. Some contractors have done some work in the last 2 years that they've not been paid, and they honestly don't know when they are going to be paid. So it's also a distraction in planning your finances. Some agents, some civil servants are owed salaries endlessly. Most of our politicians and our political leaders do not want to pay workers their salaries while they continue to live large. This also disrupts or distracts a financial plan. Impulse buying. So people cannot hold themselves when they see things online. Oh, they see it online, I know people that buy a whole lot of stuff online that they never get to use. The worst thing they can even do is buy clothes online. You see it is looking so fine online. By the time it's delivered to you, be angry. Did I actually order this thing? And so I tell you, impulse buying is a problem. So the best way to do it is to set goals. Do not spend impulsively. It is not going to help your financial planning. Set goals, set goals, and set goals. And goals will come with budgets. And then, of course, by next week, we'll be talking about budget and the personal net worth. Peer pressure. My friends are doing this at Shebi. I must buy my own. You see somebody who has not taken care of basic needs, is fighting to find whatever is possible to buy Shebi. Some will even borrow to go and do it so that they can, be among those who are wearing the Shebi. So I tell people, do not try to put your expenditure level at a level that is not comfortable for you. Always aim at what you can take care of, not what others are doing. You start to compare yourself. You start to compete with people. That is where it takes you to. Even competition has never helped anybody financially. It is a road to real financial ruin. So I say it's actually complex. Yeah, my friends, I have to do it. No, your friends, all of you, all fingers are not equal. Everybody is different. Do what you can. Do not do because others are doing. The other issue, distraction, materialism. People are materialistic. They are looking like, for material things all the time. Sometimes they even forget the things that are actually important. The extended family and other pressures are also there. In Africa, it's part of our existence. You're here, you've not even taken care of your own family. Somebody's calling you from somewhere. My children have been chased from school. He hasn't asked if your own children, whether you paid their fees, but his own children have been chased from school. He's telling you, the mother is in the hospital. Please bring money, they need this. So extended family pressures, and we have a problem in Africa. We have a very bad sense of entitlement. So somebody is calling you and making it look like it's your job to bring him the money. I'm sure many of you have experienced this. So, but this is not what it should be. These are distractions to financial surplus. Low personal discipline. If you don't have discipline, you will not be able to create wealth. To create wealth, you need a lot of discipline and focus, a lot of it. So if you have low personal discipline, it's going to be difficult for you. It's going to be difficult for you. It's going to be difficult for you. So the other point is stagflation. That is where we are now. Stagflation is a situation where there is high inflation. At the same time, there is high unemployment. And despite that, there is low growth. So look at the three: high inflation, high unemployment, and then low growth. That is stagflation. And that is where we are. It's high unemployment in Nigeria. Inflation is going up like crazy. And then there is very high unemployment at the same time. So it is actually a very, very intricate situation economically, because you don't know what to do to change it. Today, the central bank released the Monetary Policy Council released their listing for the new MPC today. That was today. I think it's about 25%. It keeps going up. It has continued to go up in the last how many years, and that means more and more interest will go higher. So for those who need loans to run their businesses, they're going to pay a lot more, and then they're going to transmit that to prices of goods, and then inflation is going to continue. That is the way it works. All right. Excuse me. What I say is pay yourself. Pay yourself. You deserve it. What do I mean? Saving is giving up today's want, not today's need, for tomorrow's good. Pay yourself. When you save, you're paying yourself. Some people think they pay themselves when they go and sit down and drink plenty of beer and eat ishewu and kobe and all that. And that, you're not paying yourself. You're actually killing yourself. You pay yourself by saving. That's when you pay yourself. It's assumed you are setting aside a percentage of your income to pay yourself. Remember God recommended 20% in Egypt. The more you pay yourself over time, the more you buy your freedom. I want to remember that. The more you pay yourself over time, the more you buy your freedom. So your freedom, your financial freedom, you're paying for it, but you pay for it by saving and then investing. That's how you buy your own freedom. But if you continue to do high consumption, eat everything, borrow more, and you are not paying yourself, and you're not getting any financial freedom. So I tell you, no matter what your income is, target an income surplus every month, not a deficit. And I want to say this again. I know things are difficult. I know this country is hard. People will tell me, oh, how can you even talk about the surplus? The money is not even enough. I know that is the truth. I know things are difficult. We are some kind of in a transition. At some point, the Naira will probably have to settle at where it is now, maybe within 1,300 and 1,600. I don't think it will go below that. So we need to take that as our new reality, because our leaders have mismanaged the currency, clearly mismanaged the currency. So, so what I want to tell you is that income is never enough for anybody. Please understand what I'm trying to say. Income is never enough for anybody. Never enough. Never enough. Even Dangote has some unmet needs. Bill Gates is moving around everywhere looking for new businesses. A man who has been in IT all his life, all of a sudden now he's producing and selling vaccines. He's looking for money everywhere. So these are billionaires, but they're still looking for, it's never enough. So it's easy to say, my own, what I'm making is not enough, so I can't keep a surplus. No, you can. Trust me, you can. If you decide, if you have the discipline and focus to do it, you have a surplus, I can keep apart and still, and you find out at some point, if you continue today's section and tomorrow, next week's section, you understand why it is possible and what you can do. So target at least 10 to 20% of savings of your income every month. Please, 10 to 20. You can do more if you can. You can do 30. That's okay. You can do 40. That's good. The more you can, please try and keep something apart and then focus that on a particular side hustle. So please do not eat the seed in your income. Please do not eat the seed. Part of your income, there's a seed in it. Do not eat it. And let me tell you, both the seed and the other part, they all taste the same. So you know the difference when you're eating it. But you need to train yourself not to eat the seed. And when you're able to discipline yourself not to eat that seed, that is the beginning of your financial freedom. Now, the surplus challenge. If income is never enough, how can we talk about surplus? That's what we're talking about now. If it's never enough, how can? See, I want to let you know, some of us confuse our desires, our wants, with our needs. It's always there. People, I need this one, I need that one, I need that one. No, it's not. You don't need it. You want it. What your needs are clear. Needs are really very clear. We know what we need. Man needs food. Man needs clothing. Man needs shelter, right? And so on and so forth. But there are things that you really don't need. They are actually desires and wants. I want to buy Louis Vuitton shirt. Honestly, your need is not a shirt. Your need is a name called Louis Vuitton. I want to buy a Prada shoes. Your need is not for shoes to wear and protect your legs. You need Prada. You need to be buying. So you need to let yourself know what the difference is. Do not confuse those your desires with needs. Desires actually bring temporary joy. That's the truth about it. So we see that as physiological versus psychological. Physiological needs are clear. Psychological ones, you can tune your psychology anywhere and begin to need private jets. You begin to need things that you may not even afford. So it's called the balance of ungratified desires. And it will always be a part of human beings. So people just sit down here and say, that is why people who earn 100,000 a month, they say, if you are paying me 200,000, I will just relax. My life will set. Once you move the person's salary from 100 to 200, his needs and his desires and his want to now readjust, immediately reconfigure, and then the things he needs now become a lot more than the 200,000. And you start seeing to say, say my salary reach 500K monthly, I'll be very comfortable. I'm not going to need anything. I will just don't set. Immediately he gets a job offer for 500,000. He now relax and gets 500,000. At the end of the month, is it not 500,000 I got? Subconsciously, his desires, his wants has reconfigured on its own and has taken the money. It is a human thing. It happens to all of us. So there's always a balance of ungratified desires somewhere in our system. And sometimes you don't even know it's there, but it's there. So once money comes and it begins to apportion itself to those things, and money has a spirit and it goes and it takes those, the money starts to go. You just start pushing the checks, doing the transfers. Before you know it, you begin to wonder, it was me that I was managing 100K before. Now I can't manage 500. And that is how human beings are. So while our income may reduce or may remain stagnant or actually increase arithmetically, our desires increase geometrically because they are run in our minds. They have no limits. They just run. So subconscious apportionment is the disease. Many of us apportion money even without having the money. It happens. So a conscious budget regime is the cure to trim the fat. Like I said, by next week, we'll handle the issue of the budget. And that is where you start with trimming the fat and then apportioning funds and then knowing what your income is going to. Most of us don't think we earn the money and we spend it. But because we do not have documentation of expenditure and a budget and a plan, we don't really know how much you spent. And I've done this with people before. And I saw a particular person who didn't know he spent so much. He didn't know he spent so much drinking beer in a month. A young man who worked in the local government whose salary wasn't much, but he had this habit of going to sit down in a joint close to his house every evening and drink 3, 4 bottles or 5 bottles of beer every evening. He said without it, he would not be happy. So we did a little calculation and I told him, look at your income. How much do you earn? He told me, and then we did a check on the drink he was taking every night. By the time I gave him the figures for 1 month, he couldn't believe it. He said it's a lie. I said, no, this is what you spent. He looked at me for a long time and said, no, it's not. I said, why are you saying it's not possible? Let's check it again. I told him how much he spent in a month drinking. And he realized that he had spent so much money, a huge chunk of his income just drinking. Then he decided to make a change. So a conscious budget regime can help you cure this particular problem. We trim the fat from places that is not even needed. If you're up for this, this will be our next topic for next week. Now, let's go to investment options. A lot of people say, what am I going to put my money? Where am I going to put my money in? And this is a question that everybody is asking. Where do I put the money? So there are all kinds of options. Of course, startups here and there. Some people put money in real estate, land speculation. You go a new area, you go and buy where it's cheap, and then hold it for 3, 4, 5 years, and you sell. I know a man that is a member of our church who, in those days, early days, bought about 25 plots of this thing at Lekki. And then he bought them at, possibly bought them when they were like 500,000 to 1 million naira plot. And then started selling out when they were like 30 million a plot. So this is how it works. So you can invest in real estate. but you need to understand, know what is happening, and you need to get some awareness, some training. Don't just go and put your money if you don't know about the business. You will lose your money. Children's special accounts, mutual funds. Those who do mutual funds here are companies like Stanbic, LBM Quest, ARM, United Capital, Chapel Hill, Denham. They are all here in Lagos. And you can actually put your money in any of them. And what they do is that they pull funds together from different people. So you subscribe, others will subscribe, millions of you subscribe. They use that whole money and put in a bond or in some kind of investment that will bring money, and then all of you, and they now give you, at the end of the period, they pay you, you make your money. Your money will not go. You will, of course, make a profit from whatever you invested. There are also pension funds. Of course, we know the pension funds, Leadway, AXA, ARM, all of them. Of course, you know, bonds are there, but are longer than, many bonds are mid to long term. Some take 5 years. You put money, and then after that, you get a whole lot back. And these are sure because they have no risks. Fixed deposits, those ones actually have little earnings, but they're still there. Put them in banks. They give you after, say, you can do 1 month, you can do 3 months, you can do 6 months, you can do 1 year, fix the money, and after that, you get that. And then you can, of course, play the stock market, buy shares, speculate if you want, and sell out. You can, of course, these days, a lot of people are focusing on digital skill acquisition. So many people are acquiring digital skills now and making a lot of money from it in a short period of time, even more than they will have made from other areas. And then this has little risk because the knowledge you acquire is knowledge you acquire, and then you just go ahead and then put it. So there are so many areas people are going to. Some people are going to a lot of IT skills, and there are a lot of areas that are actually paying off for many people right now. So with them, you can stay in one place and, of course, get a job, a remote job, sit in your place, have your laptop and your internet, and then you're able to make some money. So these are things that are, so you need to actually key into one of these areas and then enlarge your stream. You have to have various streams of income. You can't just depend on your salary alone or just one person alone. No, you have to find one here, one there, something, because if you're not expanding it, you're not doing the right thing. So if you are thinking as I'm thinking here now, no matter how small, get that plot of land. If it's in your village or somewhere, if you need to plant just plantain, one bunch of plantain these days is almost like 6,000 naira. You need to plant plantains, plant. Yes, once you finish planting, by the end of the season, you harvest and then you sell, and then you just have to be throwing away your money. Your mind should be about multiple options. They don't need to be too big. But like I said, a consistent drop is better than one huge surge. So these are the ways you can actually look at investing. Now, I need to let you know about the miracle of compound interest. The miracle of compound interest is very important. You need to earn an interest on the capital in the first year. And then in the second year, you earn an interest on both the capital and the first year's profit. The interest you made from there, you add it. And then that's how compound interest works. Most of us don't understand compound interest. But let me tell you, it is the biggest thing that finance has given us. It's like a miracle, you know. So by the time, once the money comes in here, if you see monthly, most people do compounding monthly, and it makes a whole lot of sense. You make a whole lot of money. So when you're doing compound rate, you now understand that the only thing you actually needed was just time and consistency. And it's like a snowball effect as it continues, it's rolling and it's making money, it's making money, it's making money. So most times, if say as a guide, you use the rule of 72 to determine how long to double your investment in compound interest. The rule of 72 is you use 72 divided by the annual rate of return. If the annual rate of return is 20, it will now be 72 divided by 20. It will tell you how many years for you to double that investment that you're making. It's a particular law in investment, 72 over annual rate of return, to tell you how many years to take you to double the investment. Now, I'm just, look at my screen. You can see a typical investment chart. This is at 25% per annum. So if with this chart, if you are aged 20, and you put 5,000 every month, you drop 5,000 every month. If you are age 20 and you drop 5,000 naira every month in your investment, in the compound investment account. After 40 years, when you're 60, you will have 1.8 billion naira waiting for you. If you are 30 right now, if you're 30 years old now, and you put 5,000 naira every month, after 30 years, you will have 193.6 million. You can see the difference between somebody who's 20 and somebody who is 30. This guy has 1.8 billion. This one has only 196 million. That is the difference 10 years can make in an investment. That's why I said you need time. Time is important. And I'm saying this for those of you who are still very young here. If you're still very young, you know that you still have a chance to be as wealthy as you can be. If you're still very young, you can actually make money. You can actually, by the time you're getting to retirement, you have the best life you've ever had. It's possible. If you're 40 and you put 5,000 every month, yeah, so after 20 years, you have 20.6 million. You see, as you get older, it's not making a lot of sense to you as you get older. So, yeah, that's the truth. As you get older, it's not making sense. But as a young person, if you're in your 20s, your 30s here, please, you need to start to build wealth and benefit from the miracle of compound interest. You need to do that. It is very important. You can build wealth that way. Say time and discipline. Time and discipline, very important. And then you have the vision. So from the chart, you see that the longer the investment, the better the proceed. The longer the investment. So if you start early, that's why Warren Buffett, remember Warren Buffett, billionaire, he said he started playing the stock market at the age of 11. But when he was asked, he said he started late. If he had known, he would have started earlier. At 11, he started, and he said he started very late. So this is what we need to know, that the younger you are much more able to make money, forget about how your background is or education or whatever, than if you are old. So it's very important that we get to know that. So you can start small, and you need time and discipline to make it happen. So you can actually review your spending habits today and begin to look at what you're spending your money on, and then start to work on it. If you start to work on it, find out that you have a goal, and don't mind what anybody says. If you have this goal, focus on it. You get to where you're going to. Those who told you you are being, why are you being this on yourself? Will now begin to tell you, they'll come to you to borrow money. So stop procrastinating. Start today. Begin to plan your finances. Remember, time is equal for everyone, so you have no disadvantage. It is equal for everybody. Now, let's look at another basic rule in finance: risk and return. Everything that has high risk has high return in finance, and everything that has low risk has low return. You can't change it. You can't have a high risk investment with a low return, and you cannot have a low risk investment with a higher return. Once the risk is low, the return must be low. For the risk to be high, the return must be very high. That is the way it is. So it's standard. You need to understand that every high risk is high return. Every low risk is low return. That's why some businesses the money is too much, but you'll be thinking, what if I lose my money? But there are those where you know you cannot lose your money. Like when you put your money in a fixed deposit in a bank, it's safe. But how much do you get? Little. That's the truth about finance. So is your investment secure? Very important. You need to ask that question each time you want to invest. Is it secure? Am I going to lose my money? These are the decisions you have to make. That's why you need to know more about personal finance, know where to put your money. And so I always say, I would prefer a lower return and a money safe than a higher return that will disappear, make my money disappear. So sometimes people are different. Some people are risk takers who will say, look, I put that money and let it go. And people like that. So short-term wealth may not be sustainable. Think long-term, have a vision. Long-term, sustainable long-term wealth makes more sense than short-term wealth. Short-term wealth may come and go. But if you think long-term, at the end of the time, you really be happy about what you did. So it may be better to have a low risk and low return as long as it is consistent over and over. This is my own policy, but most people don't accept it. So don't take this as law. That's why I said maybe. For some people, they say, I'd rather put it together and either I make the money or the money goes. But I prefer the smaller drops. Consistency, to me, even if it's not that big, consistency is important. It makes, at the long run, you find out that it makes more sense. Now, the principles of wealth creation. So you must have multiple streams and passive income. Passive income is the one that will be bringing money when you are sleeping. When you are sleeping, money is coming in somewhere. When you are sleeping. I told a guy, a young man last time, I had a session. I said, look, get a bike. How much do you have? He told me, I said, go and see if you can buy a bike. Get a bike, get a courier business. At this area, people need how to send or deliver stuff, but they don't see. The guy was saying, that business, I'm not sure. I said, look, it's something that it might not be big. I know somebody who said he makes at least 25,000 to 30,000 naira daily, every day. And then he spends, out of that 25 to 35,000, he spends about 5,000 on petrol. That's what he said. And to me, it makes a whole lot of sense. It makes a whole lot of sense. Because if you have a profit of 20, 25K monthly, that's a whole lot of money at the end of the month. I mean, for somebody who's on a low scale. So a passive income, on the other hand, is one that you don't need to stress yourself. The money, even as you're sleeping, the money is, even when you're sleeping, the money is coming in. You don't need to be physically involved. When it's a passive income, you're not involved, but the money is still coming. So you have to actually enlarge your, so that you have different streams of income. So if this one is failing, it's not doing well, another one is doing well. And that is the only way you can have freedom financially. You also need to understand opportunity cost of spending. Any money you spend on A, there's an opportunity cost of what you will have been used in doing maybe for B. So when you spend money, opportunity cost is what it will have been used for if you didn't spend it in that place. So anytime you're spending money, you need to think, if I put this money in this, what is the opportunity cost? What will it have given me if I put it into investment? When you start thinking that way, spending decisions become a lot more interesting for you. Before you spend, you now try to check, is that the right thing? Is that how I should do it? So I advise that you save and spend on income generating assets. Income generating assets. So when you want to spend on something that will generate something. Always think, if I put this money here, will it generate something, or will it just be a waste of everybody's time? Will it generate or will it not? Yeah, so these are the things that you need to think about. Yeah. So personal goals, simple plans, and timelines. So if everybody has to have personal goals, your plans and timelines. I want to do so and so from here to here. I plan to do investment in this. How do I raise the money? I have to bring out this amount from my salary every month or from my income every month. And then I put money. So if you keep on planning, you find out that you are not distracted. I don't know whether you've seen a man who's building a house before. All of a sudden, he doesn't want to spend money anyhow anymore. Any money comes in, oh, I need to buy that window. I need to buy that door. I need to fix that bathroom. Because he has a plan, he has a goal. When you have goals, it's hard for you to get distracted. But when you don't have any plans or any goals, you just flow. You just flow with the tide. And then that could land you in a place you don't want. If you need help, please consult. Always consult, seek help, ask questions. People who should know better will probably be able to help you. You know, I see some people feel that multiple streams is not important. Some people feel that their jobs are. I have a cousin who is a senior person, a senior executive in Unilever. She's like an international staff. She goes everywhere. You know, she's a comfortable senior big girl. But outside that, she has a thriving restaurant. She does catering services. She cooks for people's ceremonies. and she sews clothes for some clients. Sometimes I wonder how she's able to handle all that. And she does all this so well. And then I see people, I can also mention some names. I see, sorry, I'm calling name here, Sister Lakwe Obrima. She's a bank director, but she has a side hustle. She makes clothes. And I see people who are even lower down the pecking order in companies, and they believe that their salary is enough for them. My brother, my sister, it is not enough. One stream is not enough. Anything can happen. Please listen to me. Anything can happen. Please think about the second stream. No matter how little it is, think about that second stream and the third stream. When you set up the second one, think about the third one and just continue looking for those streams. Because it's when you have those different streams that's when you become financially free. So develop the right attitude to wealth creation. Leave your comfort zone. Leave your comfort zone. Take responsibility for your failures. Always have persistence. Acquire new skills where possible and keep on pushing. Once you have that goal, keep on pushing towards that goal. You find at some point, you now realize that it's now easier for you to do it. So some people who want you to protect assets using corporate structures, but well, that will work more in the US and other countries. In Nigeria, it's not even easy to protect your assets using corporate structures here. I know it's still, yes, it's there, but the way our own systems run is a bit different. You need to understand that wealth is not all about money. You know, it's not just about cash. There's wealth in other things. There's wealth in your friends. There's wealth in your family. There's wealth in the people you touch their lives. The people you touch their lives in a special way. You help them, you grow them, you mentor them. That is also part of wealth. Let me not restrict wealth to just finances alone. No, we need to also have a broader view of wealth. Because if you don't have that view, you will not understand. There's a story about a man who lives in an island, who has a farm, who has fishing and all that. He's with his family. He's very, 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 he does fishing, very, very happy man. And then some white people came over to the place and asked him, you do this? He said, yes. Yeah. And they told him, what about, if we could grow this your business, we can grow it. How? Said we could invest in fishing trawlers. So the man said, I said, yes. And what will happen? They said, okay, we put that fishing trawlers, we put it in this whole river that you have here, and then we'll get more fishes. We'll harvest more fishes, and then what? And then we'll sell those fishes, and then we'll make money, a lot more money. The guy said, and then what? And then you will be able to have, relax and be happy and all that. I said, but I'm already happy, relaxed and happy here. So wealth does not always transfer to just the physical cash. Sometimes your whole setup, your setup.
I think we can hear you again. Don't know if it's your network. Okay, just give it a minute or two. I guess it is network. I believe network threw that out, but he'll be joining us shortly.
Hi everyone. I had
okay.
a power. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Welcome back, sir. Welcome back.
Yeah, power went off in my house, and maybe the Wi-Fi went off at once. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. So I just put it back on. So let me go back to. Can you see? Can you still see my screen?
It's yet to come up. It's yet to come up.
Okay. Let me try to share screen. Let me know if you have seen my screen. Let me know.
Yes, we can see your screen now. You can go ahead, sir. Guessing we lost it again to network.
Can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can see your screen now, sir.
If at any point you don't hear me, please internet.
Heather, we can hear you. Can you hear me? Oh. We lost Heather to network. We sincerely apologize. I believe he's working on it and he will join us shortly. You just hang on. Thank you so much.
Look. Can someone hear me?
We can hear you. Yes, we can hear you. Can go ahead.
Okay, I've taken a lot of time already. I need to round up. I need to round up right now. I just have one or two more slides to go in. I have to explain a whole lot of things, of course. Now, so finally, if you can hear me, I just in a turbulent economy like Nigeria is not easy. Economy, light inflation. Nigeria between 2005 and 2015, in terms of whole
Evening, everyone. So, the Kachi, I believe, struggling with the network. Before he joins and rounds up, I think it's an opportunity to just say we don't have much time to take a lot of questions, but if you have any questions, you can start to use the chat box. So yeah, feel free to put down your questions in the chat box. Thanks.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening. I was also wondering if people have comments, questions, comments, namely, you can put such on the chat box, and you can also say them out if it's something that we can benefit from. Yeah. This, but put the questions on the chat box, and let's see how far we can go before it. Okay, if I may ask you, what lessons have we learned all of us six or three and probably just discuss the lessons you've learned, or somebody like us to discuss. Please can go ahead. Thank you.
Please, can we confirm that we can hear Adashay? Because I think it's breaking from my end. Pretty sure.
Yeah, it's breaking on my end.
There's a
too.
question here.
Okay, Ada, I think we can hear you better now. But for some minutes ago, it was actually breaking from our end. So I don't know if you would want to take that again, so we can gain more. Meanwhile, the question on the chat says, what investments can one do with small capitals? And one of the reply was mutual fund and specifically money market. So that's just a reaction on the chat. Elder, if you can hear us, if you can hear me, we'd like you to just take over what you said so we can get more. I think when you were talking, it was breaking. I'm not sure whether Kachi is back yet.
I'm back. I'm
okay.
back now. Finally.
Okay.
Yeah, I've had
Okay. Welcome back, sir.
back.
Apologies
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
obstruction. Go
Yeah.
ahead, sir. Just go ahead, sir.
So sorry about the break. Yeah, my light went off. Let me share my screen. Okay, say you've disabled the screen sharing. Please, can you? Or I can actually speak without screen sharing, just to save time. Just to save time. All right, so can you still hear me?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
All right. So, you know, to manage personal finance in a turbulent economy like Nigeria is not easy. So our Naira is now under life support. The issue is, how do we respond? Does it mean we should not take care of our finances because of that? No, we have to do what we have to do. We need to be alert to economic forecasts and trends. We need to know a level of agility and strategic thinking. Sometimes we need to hedge our savings in different currencies to protect ourselves. This might sound unpatriotic, but we have to survive, because let me tell you the truth. In Nigeria, there are no social safety net for us. For Nigerians, there are no social safety nets. You're on your own, you're on your own. Anything goes wrong, it's you. So I tell people in Nigeria, take care of yourselves. I don't think anybody's thinking about you. It's just one major illness in your life, and you're on your way to the cemetery, if not by God's grace. That's where we are. That's why I think we should try to take care of ourselves. So if you have to save money and then put them in different currencies, please do. Please do. It takes care of yourself. We're not doing public finance here, we're doing personal finance. So in any case, a budget is a must. Don't flow with the tide. If you flow with the tide, you might get drowned. So that's why I said next session we'll talk about budget and how to calculate net worth. Then please always have a special or emergency fund. You can see money on a different account as your emergency fund. Right? Anything goes wrong, health issues or whatever, you have something you can rely upon. Yeah, so if you can also try, if it's possible for you, buy your household items and food in bulk. If you can, buy in bulk. Even if you need to collect money, advance or whatever from your office, buy in bulk. When you buy in bulk, you've saved a whole lot of money without even knowing it. Then, please, like I said, start a side hustle. If the outlay for that hustle is too much, find trusted friends or partners and pull funds together and take care and start it. You actually have to be giving yourself a lift. And then trim excess fat. When you start budgeting, you know how to trim your excess fat. It becomes very clear what is excess fat and what is not, and you trim it out. And now you know you're spending your money on the right things. And please don't jump into any investment proposal you see. Get advice, first of all, because there are scammers everywhere. No excuses. Proverbs chapter 6, verse 9 to 11 says, "How long will you lie there, O sluggard? When will you arise from your sleep? A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of hands to rest, and poverty will come upon you like a robber." So this is what the Bible says. Do not relax. No excuses. And God hates the word minimum. When God does something, he does it full surplus. When he turned water to wine, there was too much to drink. When he converted loaves, 5 loaves and 2 loaves and 5 fishes, it fed thousands, over 5,000 people, and there was still a whole lot leftovers. God likes surplus, not minimum. That's why when you plant 1 seed of corn, you see how many seeds comes out. God loves a surplus. So please do not hide your gift. Every one of us has been given a gift or talent, but some of us think we don't have a gift. We all have gifts. Find your gift and use it. If you read Matthew 25, verses 14 to 30, you will know there is a gift you have. Do not hide it. God has given us gifts, talents. Do not hide it like the man hid his own. The one they gave 1 talent, he hid his own. Do not hide your own. Put it back. Invest it. Work on it. Make it better. And when you're faithful with little, as that particular part says, God will put you in charge of many things. When you're faithful with very little, before you know it, God will make it become many for you. So God gives you a surplus and expects us to aim at the surplus too. Always think surplus. So I am ending here today, and I want to just let you know that when your mind says, I can't do it, remember that God says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And when he says, I cannot go on, he said his grace is sufficient for you. When your mind says, I'm not able, God says he is able. When he says, I am afraid, God says, do not fear. When you are worried, he says, cast all your cares on him. And when you cannot figure this out, he will direct your steps. If you are not smart, he will give you wisdom. If you feel lost, he will never leave nor forsake you. And when you think it is not possible, he says that all things are possible to those who believe. Thank you, and God bless you. If you have questions or contributions, please let me have them.
Thank you very much, Elder Ukomadu, for the wonderful presentation. I think that we've all been blessed. I think there are a couple of questions in the chat box. So I don't know if you can just respond to those questions directly in the chat box because we've kind of run out of time. I don't know if you
Okay.
can hear me.
What you can do, what I can do is I can respond to, I don't know how many questions because this thing went off and came back, so I think I've lost some. We've run out of time really. Yeah, run out of time really. I just hope run out of time. But let me see.
So someone says, what investments can someone invest in with small capital?
When you say small capital, small is when you say small capital, what is small? How much?
The person didn't say.
Always one person might be big to another person. Right? What may be small to you may be small. So when you say small capital, yeah, there are a number of things you can do. Like I said, even if you think your money is too small, you can gather a group of friends and put funds together and then do it. The right, I hear your voice. You have a question, sir? A contribution?
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah.
I can't hear. I can't really hear. It's like signal is poor where you are.
I think I was disconnected. I was trying to answer that question while you were offline.
Okay, sir. So we cannot hear you. I really can't hear you well. I think where you are, network is bad. I don't know if it's me or is anybody hearing the right clearly?
No, I can't hear him. I don't. Maybe you can just type it in the chat box.
Okay, so you can type it in the chat box. There's a contribution here from Felix. He said, here is a little contribution from me. When it comes to personal finance, people should learn to give their investment time to grow. So the Kachi reiterated in his presentation, time, vision, and dedication, focus, consistency are very important. The major challenge is that most people plan to use very little capital and grow rapidly within a very short time. Yeah, like I said, it needs time. Investment needs time. I mean, most of us Nigerians are in a hurry. You want to be like Dangote within 1 year. It's not possible. It's just not possible. But you need time, you need vision, you need a focus. But you can't really hurry it. You can't really say, okay, no, if you are looking for something that is hot, you probably lose your money. You may get into hands of scammers who, I remember the MMM saga. People put money there and then the money disappeared. That is what happens when you want quick returns. There is no quick return in finance. Anybody who tells you put 50,000 naira here, at the end of 1 month to get another 50,000 naira is lying to you. He's not telling the truth. There is nothing in finance that gives that amount of return. Give you 100% return in 1 month, it's not possible. In finance, you can get it in a business that you're doing, but not in finance, not in an investment, financial investment, financial security or whatever. No, you cannot get that. So if they tell you, please consult, ask questions before you go ahead to put anything, any money, anywhere. There's one Obani Godson whose hands are up. If you can unmute and ask or contribute quickly, so we can close up. I'm so sorry about the time. Even though I told them it was going to take a bit longer, but the internet problem.
All right, so thank you very much.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Go ahead. Good evening.
Mind if you can hear me, sir?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Can you hear me, sir?
I said I can hear
Yes,
you.
we can.
Can hear you. Go ahead.
All right. All right, sir. Thank you very much for that wonderful and detailed presentation. Even though I didn't join from the beginning. I think from where I joined, talking about basic needs associated. I like the fact that you were able to detail the of needs, which has to do with physiological needs and rest. And then my questions are these: can you give more details on how one can manage low self-discipline and savings? Then how can a savings of 2K be used as a means to generate income rather than leaving it in a bank with the mindset that one is having money? Then basic needs associated with savings. For not everyone, just as you've stated earlier on, some people are struggling they've not even met their needs, and they also on a very, very low salaries to say. So how can they manage this their basic need? Because they need to meet their basic need: water, food, air, their health also at the same time, and also manage this with savings. Thank you, sir.
So how many questions did you ask now? 2 questions? If I got that clear. Okay, the one I understood well, the last one.
Three,
Oh,
sir.
the one I understood, I think they're a bit confusing, but the last one I understood very well. Somebody who has not met his basic needs, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. When you have not met your basic need, I'm not saying desires or wants, just basic needs, you cannot start saving and investing. That is clear. So your walk to financial freedom is still far. It's still far. It's not magic. It's clear. If you've not met your basic needs, 2 things are involved. Either if you are working, your remuneration is not able to take you home. If you are not working, if you're a businessman or you're a trader or doing something on your own, it means what you're doing is not able to take care of you. Because when you say basic needs, it means need for shelter, need for clothing, need for food. These are basics. So if you cannot even take care of the basics, you cannot start saving. So where you start from in there is to even find what you can do, first of all, that will take care of your needs. I'm not talking about wants now, I'm talking about needs. So first of all, you need to find, and that's where I come into where you need to now start. If you're doing a job, you know that you're doing the wrong job. If what you're earning in that job is not able to feed you, clothe you, pay your rent, you are not gainfully employed. You're probably underemployed. That's the way I say it. So for financial freedom, you need to at least be able to be in a situation where you've taken care of your basic needs and then check what is, but even the person you're saying has not taken care of his basic needs, if you check him or her well, you might come to a point where you see that the person is also spending money on things that are not even essential to his own well-being. He might be spending more money on making calls or browsing the internet. He might be spending money on things that are not even important. You could find some of them who barely find food to eat. You can see them gulping, soaking themselves in alcohol from morning to night. And I've seen this happen. So when you say those things, we need to be sure what to do for a person. If you are not able to meet your needs, this particular presentation, there are basic assumptions. You are at a place where you've met your basic needs, but you want to build wealth. But if you have not met your basic needs, we need to work towards meeting your basic needs. Either get the right job or do the right side hustles that will give you enough to take care of yourself before you start thinking about savings and investments. And I think that is there's no magic to it. And then the other 2 questions, you said something about somebody who gets 2K. What do you mean by it? Who gets 2K? Is it income or what? Can you clarify, please?
Okay, so what I'm saying is a savings of 2K, because
2,000 naira a month.
Yes. So what I'm saying is, how can the person use it as a means of income rather than leaving it in a bank with intention, oh, I'm saving, let me be saving money? Well, how can that be used? Because to my own understanding, I feel like by the time you leave that 2K in a bank, leaving it for the next 12 months, that's around 22,000 naira, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah,
And
that's
you
what.
basically have nothing left. So
What are the,
and
what
then
are
the next
what,
one,
yeah, I'm coming. What are the person's goals? I'm going back to the 2K. What are the person's goals? What goals? Because 2K, as what percentage of the person's income? Is it as a 10% of his income, or is it as 20% of the income? That's what I need to ask. Because first of all, for you to be saving 2K, let's say it's even 10% of your income. That means your income is 20,000 naira a month. You know, 2K right now is about $130. Sorry, I'm sorry, $1.30. That's what 2K is. $1.30. If that is your monthly savings, $1.30, it's going to be a long journey for you. Unfortunately, that's the truth. So when you use an amount like 2,000 naira, in fact, these days in banking charges will take all of it. I did an experiment. I opened an account in a particular bank. I can also call the name of the bank. I put an account, 10,000 naira, savings account. I wanted to observe something. And they'll be sending me monthly, it's a savings account. They'll be sending me monthly, whatever, balances, sending me balances. They kept sending me balances. The money was reducing from 10,000 to 9 something. It started coming down till it got to 8 something. I kept on watching it. It came down to 0. And then they started giving me minus. I was not owing the bank for saving in the bank. Do you understand what I'm saying? I was now owing the bank.
yes, sir.
My balance was now in the negative, in the red. I put 10,000 naira. I had not taken a penny from it. And it's supposed to be a savings account, so which actually means they should be paying me some savings, some interest on that money. So it should be growing, but in the Nigerian bank, it kept on going down until it came to negative. So there's an amount of money you save in our banking system, and it just makes a mess of everything, because the truth is that one transaction you make, the number of charges you pay and all that, and VAT and everything takes all of it. So there are things that are actually not workable in Nigeria right now. Our Naira is in a mess. So any savings of 2,000 Naira probably would take forever to get you to where you need to be. And that's the truth. Those are our realities. You can't change that. Sorry, time has gone. Time has gone. Any other so that we can close up. Time has gone. Let's go.
I actually have one.
Okay.
It's would I say form of an admonishment, but in order of reducing risk, even when you're saving and when you're investing, it's also important to reduce risk on yourself. So I think in Nigeria at this point, if you don't have a health insurance, you should check yourself. Like, it's important to have all these things covered. So basic things that are beyond your control, please, as much as possible, have them covered. Health insurance, there are plans of 40,000 naira per year. There are family plans of 200 and something thousand naira per year. So as much as possible, try to eliminate any risk that will cause you potential unforeseen expenditures. So as much as possible, even your car, because I can imagine what it will cost you to repair a car right now if it goes into an accident. As much as possible, try to insure, and yeah, just try to eliminate any risk. Thank you.
Thank you very much. There are questions I've not answered here. What I want to assure you is keep these questions for our next week's section, so that the section for next week is going to be shorter than this one. So I will take time we can now discuss all the questions and answer all the questions. I see people are asking me to answer their questions. I know, but because of time, I have to close. But no to these questions. And I also see some contributions. As I've seen one from Sister Chinyere Chinekeze about investing in insurance and all that. And these are all very fantastic contributions. Please put them down. We are going to get them back. Get them, the questions, contributions. We're going to put them together at our next week Tuesday section, and then we're going to tidy up all of them. Please. Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, Elder Kachi. And thank you, everyone.
Sorry. Excuse me. Sorry. Based on what Elder Kachi said, can someone just take a picture of all the comments and send it to him, so he can prepare the answers for next?
I'll send it to
Sorry.
the I said I just did that, sir. I'm about to send it to the worship coordination group. Yeah.
Oh, well done. Well done. Well
Thank
done.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much again, Ukomadu, for the wonderful presentation. And thank you everyone for participating in the leadership session for today. It's time for us to share our prayer request. Please, if you have any requests, please go ahead and indicate by raising your hand so that we can pray over them.